I would say also outside of those things I just named, look at your life in its totality. And if there's things that need to be work on those things, sis. Like, what are you waiting for? I wanted to have more single friends, and I even now need more local single friends because a lot of the women are in other places. Because I don't want to hear about your husband all day. I know it sounds cold.
Actually was a part of a program where God just really seeded this ministry in me.
Let me tell y'all something. I done found me a keeper.
And taking it to Sunday school and vacation Bible school, I would be to this day. What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Coach NaQuandra. If you didn't already know, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is a great day because we have a guest with us today. You don't have to just hear me talk the whole time. Rondelle is someone I follow on Instagram, and she has a community, a sisterhood, a ministry for women, specifically women who are single and also saved. And so that's going to be the basis of our conversation today, talking about what she does and dropping some nuggets for all of you like me who are single, and she is also single, so that we can support each other and continue to build this community, because we were not meant or built to do this thing alone. So let's get into it. Rondelle, so just go ahead and open up. Tell us about your ministry, your community, and how you got started with that.
Absolutely. Hey, ladies, what's up, y'all? And I just want to take a minute to just thank you for, inviting me to come and speak and share. I love to just, pour into people and be poured into. So I'm excited. But so about me, my name is Rondelle Martin, but you might see Daily Dell in quotes in between my name. That's my YouTube name. So I do have a YouTube channel as well, where I just talk about all things like faith, life, and some business in there too. Just to encourage the modern Christian, millennial Christians particularly, but the modern Christian, how can we navigate this world and honor God with today's issues and what's in front of us? I also have my community, Single and Saved in the City, and that is specifically for Christian single women, for us to fellowship, because it's my mission with that organization for me to uplift single women, to help them live their singleness joyfully, to make connections, to be poured into, to grow in their faith and their life. And also they have a business and ministry as well, help them with that, and to lessen the seclusion a lot of times that happens when you're single. It can be hard to find a good community because it's like a lot of singles groups out here, they might be co-ed or they might not be Christian, or it's just really centered around dating. And nothing's wrong with dating, but I don't want that to necessarily be the focal point, because there's so many other things that we can be doing. So that's the sisterhood circle over there. I'm also a content creator, so that kind of goes in with Daily Dell, but I have a clothing line, which this shirt is from. I just do all the things. I'm a creative. I'm just using all my gifts. But outside of that, I am a mom, a single mom. My son turned 6 in November. I am a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend. I just love people, and I love to just walk in purpose and empower other women to do the same.
Yes, that's very good. And like you, I do so many things: the podcast, the YouTube, make t-shirts, all the things, using all the gifts. And so that is wonderful, and grateful for you starting this community for us single women, because like you said, it can feel like we're secluded or isolated, and it sucks. Like, it sucks. And I was talking to the Lord this morning when I was taking my dog out, actually a few minutes ago. And I was like, Lord, I don't want to focus on the things that suck. I want to focus on the things that are good, God, because your plans are good for us. And so although I may get into this spot where I'm going through the pains of being single, or I just want my person, I just want somebody, I got to focus on what's good, because in this season of singleness, there are pros, there are cons. And then when you get married or you get into a relationship, there's things where you have to kind of like divide up your time more. You struggle to find that corner of your day to have time with God. And so I was just like, Lord, help me focus on the good things, the time that I do have now. Right.
Yeah.
And so as you started Saved and Single in the City, what urged you, or what had you to start it?
It really was God taken me on a healing journey. So when I got pregnant with my son, I was 2016, I got pregnant. And I was in a relationship that was actually a rebound relationship because I was engaged. That engagement didn't work out. We were living together, me and my ex-fiance. He moved out. We tried again, didn't work. So it was like the final, like, we're done. And I got with my son's father. And basically, long story short, he was like, I don't even want you to keep the child. And I was like, I'm going to keep the child. We ended up breaking up because of that. And I never seen or talked to him since, except for when I told him we were having a boy. And so that was really heartbreaking for me because all of my 20s, now I'm 34, I'm going to be 35 this year. So all of my 20s, in most of my life, I had idolized marriage. And I think that's something that a lot of us don't admit that. And it's not really our fault because when you think about it, you know, we are taught from a young age as women, primarily. What I'm going to say in this podcast, I'm going to just go ahead and let y'all know now so you can come for me. I'm just going to be making some generalizations. I know there's always exceptions to the rule, but by and large, women are raised to admire marriage to a point where it's like, I'm not a full woman. I haven't become a true woman of God, my peak womanhood, until I become a wife and a mom. If I don't achieve those things in life, I have not arrived. I have not made it. It's not, you know, it's not okay. Boys, by and large, are not taught that. And so this was a lifelong thing. And when all of that came to a head, it really hit me like, I was in such a slump and I was so desperate to become a wife because so many people around me were getting married, you know, and so many people around me were starting their families. And I was always a perpetually single friend. I would have a relationship. It might last a year, maybe two, and I'd be single for a long time in between. And I'm always the bridesmaid, always the supportive friend, always, you know, but never have my own. And so I was writing in my journal leading up to this point, and when the whole breakup happened, I literally read the journal, and I read it again in like 2020, and I was like, "Who, girl, you were far gone." But you know, I was just like, I was reading the journal, and I'm like, "Wow," you know, because I was really like, I don't know if I'll ever get married. I'm never going to have children. I've been in this relationship, that relationship. These men don't want me. And I'm never going to be my fullest self until I'm a wife. And I like literally, I could find it now and read it to y'all if I had it. And I was like, oh my goodness. And it was a wake up call because it's like, all these relationships I put up with for nonsense, it was because it was like, well, if I just hold on a little while longer, I'll become that wife. If I just work a little while longer. And so that basically the pregnancy started the whole healing journey with my son. I mean, with me, after I had my son, then God really started working on just renewing my mind, renewing my heart, understanding that first and foremost, marriage is not a guarantee. It's not a promise of God in the sense of like, once you love God and you follow him, you're going to get a spouse. I'm sorry, it's not. And it's nowhere in his word. However, God does give us the desires of our heart if we're following him and put our trust in him. So if you have a burning desire for marriage, there's a reason why God put it there. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, your husband's definitely going to come and stuff because y'all not going to come for me. But, you know, needless to say, whether he comes or not, you are still blessed. And God had get me to that point over a span of, I'll say six-ish years. And in 2020, during the pandemic, I had moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I live now. I'm originally from the DMV, so shout out to all my DMV folks. And my family went through hell and back. I mean, we got here, the house we thought we were going to get, we didn't get. We ended up homeless for about 2 months. None of us had job secured because all of them pulled away. Like, we literally were just in the fire. And during the pandemic, we had got a house. Well, right before the pandemic, we got this house I'm living in now. And God just started speaking to me. It's like, well, you don't have any church community because we weren't meeting at that time in the building. You know, you're in this new place. You haven't had a chance to make friends because you've been fighting for your life. So, you know, you need to start this community because you're saying you want a women's community that's like this and that does that and whatever. And it's not, you're not finding it. So it's your assignment to start it. And I was like, okay, but I'm not going to start it right now. And I put it off for 2 years. And in 2022, I was like, okay, enough is enough. You know, I had some janky friendship situations, friendship breakups. That's a whole nother podcast in and of itself. But I was just like, it's time for me to just create this community that I've been yearning for. And I was cleaning one day, single and saved in the city hit me. And I was like, boom, that's the name, started it, and I just hit the ground running. We had from August 2022 to December 2022, we had 7 events, 3 virtual, 4 in person. We're about an even split. We got about 51% of the women in other states and a few in other countries, and then about 49% local in Atlanta. So it really was birthed out of my healing journey, and now having the peace and joy that I have in my singleness, like, of course, I still have hope that I could get married one day and that God has that for me. But I can sit here flat footed today and say, if it didn't happen, I will be okay. Like, I would have joy. I will be okay. Now, I'm not saying every day I'm going to be smiling and laughing. I'm going to, have my moments. But for the most part, I'll be like, okay, God, you're still good. Like, I'm still living my life, husband or not. So, I just feel like a lot of women still have to get to that point, and some don't know how. Some, and it's only with the help of God, but God sends vessels, and I believe He is sending me out as a vessel.
That's good. One key thing you said, well, you said a lot of key things, but one that stuck out to me was, even if He doesn't do it, you're still blessed. Like, we really have to learn and figure out how we can be content with what's now. Like, I think every day, or a lot of times throughout the week, like, what if my the community I've created for women, or what, don't ever pop off, so that I can do it full time and not have a 9 to 5? What if I don't get married? What if I get married and I can't have children? What if all this happens? Am I still going to be content? Am I still going to be happy, joyful, serving the Lord, jumping up and down and doing what I do? Am I still going to be able to do that? And so I just pray that the Lord helps me in my current season to be content with what I am and who I have and what I don't have now, and that I be a good steward over what I do have, so that if it don't happen, or when it does happen, I steward over it appropriately. And so even if He don't do it, you are still blessed. That's good.
Still
And
blessed.
The mindset that you talked about, how we as women are like naturally, or that people just do it as we're children. The world creates this picture that we're supposed to be married off by this certain age, or we're not a woman fully yet if we don't have children. Even I teach pre-K, and my students now, they ask me all the time, you got kids? You married? Where your husband? Where your boyfriend? And I tell them, well, Miss Quandra don't have that right now. And they be looking at me crazy. They think I'm supposed to be married. Like yesterday, one student, he told me, he said, oh, you lonely.
Oh my God.
Yes, therefore, and this is the picture they have in their head, that you're supposed to do this when you are a grown-up, or you're supposed to have that when you're a grown-up. And it's good that you pointed out that men, they're not taught that. So there's like women, we get into a relationship and we waiting 10 years for a ring, and that man, he just not there yet. That's not a priority for him. He didn't grow up watching Disney princesses and wanting to be staying in a castle and all that stuff. And so that's good. I think them women, as we adapt digest that knowledge, and then shift our mindset to, society doesn't tell me how I live my life. I need to be content with what's here and right now. That will help the healing process of past relationships and things like that.
Exactly. And especially, like, I can't tell you how many times, especially like in the church, because when you have these micro societies and microcosms within society, it gets even worse, And so a big part of the foundation of our faith is the marriage. Adam and Eve, the first wife and husband, marriage being the cornerstone of society. And don't get me wrong, I don't want y'all to hear me and be like, oh, she hates men, she hates marriage. No, I love men. I love marriage. I think it's great. My parents have been married for about 40 years, but it's just the idolization of it I don't like. When you put something so high up on your priority list or whatever, that it's no longer a desire, that you're okay if it doesn't happen, but it's like mandatory. Like, you come to God almost with a sense of like entitlement, like, where's my husband at? This other third, or you're so down and out about it that you're missing out on your daily life. That's when it becomes a problem, and it's consuming all your thoughts. But it's just like that contentment is hard for us to get, and it's not normal. I don't think people are used to seeing a woman truly be joyful, because when I say that, it's almost like, like the other day on my Instagram, Single Saved in the City, I put up a reel where it was just like a little loop of me in a selfie video, and I put point of view trusting God in my singleness, adjusting my crown, or having joy in singleness. It was like 3 things. And then I was like, read the caption. So in the caption, I was like, it's been 7 years since I've been in a long-term relationship. I've had situationships in there. I've had, I've dated and stuff, but it hasn't been long-term. And I was like, but I'm so joyful now. Like, marriage is of course a desire again, but it's not like, I've got to get this thing. And I was just sharing that, like, this is why I started this community. I want every woman, single woman, to experience this joy and contentment. Like, we really struggle with that. And this other influencer who I've known for years, and she has a bigger platform. She has a whole coaching program. I think I'm not going to say the name because I don't want nobody coming for us on YouTube, but it's like a whole coaching program or something just about going from singleness to married. But it's like, that's the focus, And so I guess she read my caption and she was just like, oh, I could help you get out of this. Basically, like, I can help you get out of this, hit me up. But someone had tagged her like, oh, so-and-so can help you, hit them up. And I'm like, I didn't post this as a cry for help. I posted it to share, but I just thanked them. Right. I kept it cute. I was like, okay, thank you. Thank you for commenting. But I'm like, it's not a cry for help. I'm just sharing my testimony. Like, I really am in a good mood. I'm really in a good mentality. So, and that's just hard. Even in 2023, it's hard for people to see a woman. And let's be honest, a Christian single Black woman in her mid-30s that is actually really joyful about singleness. Like, that's hard for people to digest. It's not like you're probably suppressing your feelings, you're probably gonna cry after you post. It's like, no, like, I'm actually really happy.
Right.
Like,
I'm actually enjoying this.
Right. Exactly. So it's definitely a lot of work to do. We've come a far way, but we still got a long way to go. And I think, especially when it comes to raising our children, especially being a mom, I tell my son, because the girls hear it enough. The girls hear, get married, have kids, like me having a son, I'm teaching him about marriage. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, you're probably not going to hear this as much from outside sources as a girl would. So just understand, like, this is how you should be relating to women when that time comes, when you're ready to date, and I'm doing it in a kid-friendly way now because he's only 6, but I'm going to keep having these conversations. And I do pray for his future wife. And I pray that he could, if God has it for him to get married, that he would be a godly husband. And if he doesn't have to get married, that he won't be out here breaking hearts and creating soul ties and trauma along the way,
That's good. That's good that you do that. And yes, start them early. Because first of all, the children today, they are like a lot more intelligent than you would think. Like, sometimes I forget that my students are only 4, because the way they talk, the way they, independently carry themselves and look after each other. But it's good to instill that in them as they are young, because he's gonna digest that subconsciously or consciously and take it on with him as he is moving forward. And as you were talking, I was thinking about how when I was a teenager, my mom she told me that the advice that her dad gave her was, don't depend on a man for nothing. And so I took that on, and that I kind of like adapted to that. So growing in college, I made sure I had a job so I can pay all my bills, and I made sure I could do this and do that. And so when it came to men, it was kind of like I did not need them. They were kind of like an accessory. Like, I just wanted them. And so I didn't really value what a man could have brought to my life, how we could actually, kind of help each other, pour into each other. I didn't really understand that because of that one word of wisdom that I took from my family and kind of lived off of it. And so now we say, and we're joyful in our singleness, and we're happy, and we got the pros, we got the cons. But I appreciate you harping on the fact that, like, we're saying this, that don't mean we don't want our husband. Very much, it's not no, I don't need a man mindset over here. It's not no, I'm a boss girl and I'm gonna do this and do that and I don't need him. It's no, I want my husband, but while I'm here, I'm going to enjoy this time. While I'm here, I'm not going to sit bitter. I'm not going to be angry. I'm not going to, be frustrated with God about it, because there may be some other things that he needs me to dig up out of myself so that I can be prepared to serve, to love my husband accordingly, right?
Yeah.
And as you were talking about your journal, I was literally looking at my journal the other day because next weekend I'm going to share my testimony at this church, and I was like, let me go back and look. So the first couple entries in my journal in 2017 says, okay, and Lord, I'm still waiting on my husband. This 2017. After I read that, I was like, so apparently I've been waiting for my husband since 2017. It's wild. I was like, you really need to stop.
It's
But
hilarious though.
yes, very much. I'm so glad that I have journals so that I can go back and reflect on the progress, the growth, because a lot of times when we get depressed, we get anxious or just upset, we forget all the progress we've made in our life. And so journals are kind of like the receipts that we have
Mhm.
to check Satan and the naysayers when they try to
Okay.
tell us that we're not worthy, or we're not doing what we need to do, or even when we just make ourselves feel that way
Right.
when we mess up, so to say. But so what healthy habits would you say that we should be creating or doing as we're in this single season? Because sometimes we get sad and we go back to a relationship that wasn't good for us, or we get
Mm.
sad and we want to get drunk, or we want to get smoke because we sad because we single and we ain't got nobody.
Mhm.
So instead of reverting back, what habits should we create to keep moving forward?
Well, I'm going to say the first and foremost is to pray, create a prayer habit because, and I know it sounds cliche, but honestly, like even if you're not knee deep in your word, having that conversation with God can help like stir up your faith and your relationship with Him,
Yeah.
because for any relationship to blossom, you have to have intimacy, and prayer is our intimacy with God. That's where you're having a conversation, and prayer doesn't have to be fancy. Like maybe you're listening to this and you're like, well, I don't pray like so and so, or maybe I'm doing the faith or whatever. Like you don't have to get down and start, going off in tongues and tearing in the spirit. Like you could, not every prayer is gonna be gritty like that, but just talk to God. I talk to God exactly like how I'm talking to y'all right now, like with the reverence, but honest, real. If I'm upset about something, I tell Him. If I'm angry, if I'm anxious, if I'm feeling some type of way about somebody, I tell Him, like everything.
Yeah.
Just be honest. There's no point in lying. Just be honest, because He already knows anyway. And
Yeah.
from that prayer, from that prayer life, you'll be able to, I feel, getting your word, because that's how it typically works for me anyway. But either way, getting your word and pray and getting community. So even if it's not single and saved in the city, which we would love to have you, because we lit over here, then find a community of women in the same season of life as you. And this is another reason too why I made it specifically for Christian single women, because there are women groups out there that are just for Christian women, any relationship status.
Yeah.
And I personally, I literally was just telling one of my good friends this other day. I was like, I wanted to have more single friends, and I even now need more local single friends, because a lot of the women are in other places, because I don't want to hear about your husband all day. I know it sounds cold, but I don't want to hear about that all the time, because this is just in my experience. Again, if you're not like this, I'm not coming for you, and even if you are like this, then I'm not trying to indict you. I'm just trying to bring it to your attention, because a lot of times, we can't be better, or we can't correct things if we don't allow people to be honest and give us an honest critique, and by and large, it's just in my experience, when I'm hanging with wives, the conversation typically ends up being about what's going on in their marriage, their husband, if they have kids, their kids, what's happening in their lives. And it's like, even if I'm sharing what's going on in my life, it's either not heard, my feelings are dismissed, or it's just kind of like be happy anyway, because you don't have to deal with this, that, the third, and whatever. And it's like, even though I have joy in my singleness, I'm still a woman, I'm still human, I'm still going to have my days that are hard, whether it's centered around my relationship status or other things. So I don't want to feel like it's like, well, just be quiet and be happy, because at least you ain't got to deal with the husband, at least you ain't got to deal with this, so it's always kind of awkward. And then it's just harder to get up and go, because now your priority is your household, your husband, your children. And I don't like to always feel like I'm second or third fiddle, because what happening is we might make plans to go somewhere, then like a day or two before, it's like, oh, I can't go anymore because so-and-so, their husband's name is taking me here, or I got to do this at home. And it's the name of the game. It's how life goes. But it's like, not saying that can't happen with single women, but it's less likely, in
Mhm.
my experience. And so get around single women that you can pour into, single women that can encourage you outside of just you gonna get your man, he's coming, sis, God heard you. Find friends that can speak life into who you are as a woman. God has gifts inside
Yes.
of you. God has an assignment over your life. So when you come to me, I'm gonna hear you out when you're complaining, or you're just down and out about not having a husband. I'm gonna hear you out. I'm not gonna make you feel bad because I'm an empath, so I'm gonna hear you out and I'm gonna relate to you. But when we're done, kind of lamenting over our relationship status, I'm gonna pour into you. Like, you are
Yes.
who is powerful, you're mighty, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You have an assignment, you're making a change out here. We need to get it together, sis. Let's fix our crown. Let's go out here. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if God hasn't brought your husband yet, there's still work to do.
Mhm.
So whatever area of life. Now I would say also, outside of those things I just named, look at your life in its totality. And if there's things that need to be work on those things, sis. Like, what are you waiting
Yes.
for? Work on them. Like, I know for me, I'm trying to take my finances up. I know there's some financial
Same.
habits that I need to improve on, and there's some things that I want to start doing, like investing and stuff. So that's one of my big goals for this year. Like, a husband's in the back there somewhere in my mind, but let's get this money right so my husband can find me not in debt and with a 300 credit score. Like, where he can find me
Yeah.
with a good credit score and in motion. I'm working on getting my health back because I actually lost a lot of weight during the pandemic, and then I gained it back between 2021 and 2022 for the most part, almost all of it. And so I'm like, okay, time to get this weight off once and for all, because I've been up and down in my weight all my life, so I'm like, time to get this weight off. So I'm getting my health together. I'm getting my finances together. I'm improving as a mother. If you're a single mother out there, spend this time with your kids. Like, because when that husband comes, it's now split. Cherish these moments. Like, it hit me the other day. My son's turning 7 this year. I feel like I just gave birth to him. Like, time is flying. And it's like, I'm even guilty of getting caught up in business, or, I work for myself, but work stuff or whatever. So, if you're, and at the end of the day, if you're working on your finances, you're working on your health, you're working on purpose, you're working on your inner healing, you're doing all of the things and you're improving, and God still has not sent that husband yet, then it's just not time yet. Because God ultimately knows, like, if I send this husband now, it's going to get you off course. Because we might think, I could handle it. Like, if he's here, I won't get off.
Yeah.
But you know how it is when you in love and you all getting the butterflies. You should be working on your financial plan, but you cupcaking on the phone with your boo. You
Yeah.
should be at meal planning so you can get your
Exactly.
health plan together, and you going out on a date, eating out, knowing you eating stuff that you said you're not gonna eat, but you eating because you're like, well, I'm on a date. I've had a hard week, so I'm just gonna do it.
So let me get these crab legs.
Like, you just all over the place because you feeling this dude, you're in love, or you're falling in love. And so you look up, 3, 4, 5, 6 months have passed. You're like, dang, I haven't done anything that I said I was going to do this year, or I started and I haven't finished. And he's living his life, sis. Because one thing about men, they gonna get to know you, they gonna date you, but they're not putting their goals to the side. They're not getting off course. We get all up in the clouds and we're like, oh my gosh, like, what's my wedding dress gonna look like? Who's gonna be my bridesmaid? Like, this and the third. It's easy for us to get caught up because that's just how God made us. We feel we're nurturers, And so this is a time for you to go hard, set the tone on things, get closer to God, tend to you, live your best soft life as much as you can. Because I'm all about my soft life era right now. Like, how can I? Because I'm a luxurious woman. I'm like, I got to be able to afford myself because I have
Absolutely.
So I'm just like, do all of the things. Be the dynamic woman that's inside of you that's screaming to get out. Like, and the thing is, the minute that you start doing those things, watch your husband come. Like, I'm so serious. The minute you're like, okay, it's me, he gonna see you and he gonna be like, wow, like, that woman over there, she's doing it. He could be watching you right now, but God just hasn't removed the wool from his eyes yet, because it's like, it's less attractive if you're just sitting here and you're like, woe is me, I want to be a wife, when is my husband coming, when, versus if you're like in purpose doing your thing, like, you just, and again, every day is not going to be sunshine and rainbows, but I'm on a mission. I'm a woman on a mission, and whatever God has called me to, it's going to look different for everybody. I'm working on that thing. And he sees you in purpose doing it. He going to be like, that's her right there. That's her.
That's good. And that's key. Cause like, even with the finances thing with me too, like I be thinking like, listen, my husband can't find me with my money looking how it's looking with how our management, like he gonna be like, this grown woman, she ain't got that together yet. Like we gotta get prepared. Like start doing the things that the type of wife you want to be, the type of husband that you want to be with. You need to start doing
Mm,
things for him and for her right
yeah.
now. And like you said, what you waiting for? Because time don't wait
Mhm.
for nobody.
It
Time gonna
doesn't.
pass you by, and you just gonna be sitting like, he still ain't came yet, and you still got that 300 credit score, like you said. Like you gotta start doing the work now. And like you said, the
Exactly.
time it gets divided up when you get into a relationship, when you have
Yeah.
children, because you got to split it amongst these people. You got to steward over these relationships. And
Mhm.
so that's a pro of being single right now, because you have
Yes.
time to put in the work. You have time to stay up at 3 a.m. until 3 a.m. if you want to. You have time to
Mhm.
get up at the crack of dawn if you want to, so that you can prepare. This is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And now
Yes.
I know, I love how you said that your husband could be watching you right now. He's just waiting. The Lord is just, he waiting on the Lord to pull the wool from over his eyes. I know that's going to encourage so many women, whoever hears this. But that's great. So what I heard you say was pray, study, get into your word, and then get connected with like-minded women. So that
Mhm.
accountability is key. Like I have an accountability group that I started with one of my friends, and we meet every week. And when I tell you, like, the acceleration in us just growing as women has like picked up so much, like all of us transforming and doing different things, healing, meeting goals, because we're able to check in and hold each other accountable. And then the way you explained your relationship, like, I'm gonna sit and listen to you, but we not finna sit here and wallow. Like, I'm going
Yes.
to encourage you. And so that's the good thing about having that type of like-minded relationship where you can feed into each other. Like, we can sit here and complain, but that's not what we're gonna do the whole time. We can
Okay.
let our feelings out, but we're gonna have to keep moving forward because we got
Yes.
stuff to do. That's
There's
why
stuff
I
to do.
posted earlier this year. I was like, listen, whoever ain't getting on the boat, they getting left behind.
Period.
'Cause I got things to do. I can't sit here and be sad. I can't sit here
Okay.
and be depressed. We got things to do. We got assignment. Okay.
Okay.
So
It's too
I hear
many.
that. I
Yes. Too
definitely
much
hear that.
impact to make. Too much impact to make.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, that's good. That's good. Anything else you want to share with the people?
Um, yeah, I would just say like keep striving for your best self. Because again, we are not living just to become wives. You know, like that
Yeah.
is going to be a blessing if and when it does happen. But you, sis, are dynamic. Like when you tap into your power and you tap into all the stuff that God created you to be, you'll be unstoppable. You'll have a keener eye for mess. You won't tolerate as much mess. You'll be more sure of yourself. You'll be more confident, and you'll become everything that God wanted you to be because He had a plan over your life individually. And then also keep in mind too, this is something else I forgot to say, that when you are praying for a husband, your husband's praying for a wife. And most of us want the cream of the crop. We want the best of the best. We want the best we can get. So, you know, he's a child of God too. God's not going to give his son someone who's not qualified for him. So make sure that you are also, like you had said, becoming the wife that type of man would need. You know, if you want a man who's out here really crushing it and doing it and has a heart for God and all that, what type of wife do you think he's going to want? So, you know, even if you're taking becoming a wife seriously, you got to think like, well, okay, how can I be that helpmeet? We're created to be helpmeets. We're created to push each other into purpose and stuff like that. So I would say do that. And I can't stress enough, get into a good community. There's so many
Yeah.
single communities out here. If you're a Christian woman, I would really encourage you get into one that is Christian based because everything that we do, Jesus is a cornerstone of it. So you
Yeah.
want to have people that could speak over you with faith. But regardless, just make sure you're in a community and make sure that you are being plugged into and you are being nurtured and encouraged and all of that. Again, I'd love to have you join my group. You know, you have your own group. Like there's so many things out here, resources, so, and have fun. Like, live it up, travel, go to the spa, like, treat yourself,
Right.
do the things, work hard and play hard. That's my motto. So
Treat yourself. I'm definitely finna go do something for me today because I was
yes,
like, I need to go do something. Treat
yeah.
yourself. That's key. So tell us, is there anything that we need to do to join your community, like a form or anything? And then also talk about the mini events that you're having
Yes, I'm
coming
so
up.
excited. Okay, so to join Single Saved in the City, all you really have to do is follow me on social media. I haven't done a form or anything yet because I'm still debating if I want it to be like really exclusive or I want it to be open and then the events are more exclusive. But for right now, just follow me on Instagram at Single Saved in the City. So no and, just at Single Saved in the City. You'll see it on the screen. Facebook, we do have a private group, so that's the most exclusive thing we have right now. And I'm about to start going live in there more, teaching more things, sharing business knowledge and stuff like that. So if you go on Facebook and you type in Single and Saved in the City, you'll see two things come up: a page and the private group. You can follow the page if you want, and even if you're not single, you can follow the page to share content and stuff. I have some married women and folks, some men even, that follow the page just to share and support. But on the group, you'll see it pops up like a purplish logo. That's a private group. So just go ahead and request to join. Please put your email in it so that you can get the newsletters. I'm revamping the newsletters right now. And then check out our website, www.singleandsavedinthecity.com. You'll see all the events. You'll see everything. But to give you guys the tea on the events, we have a virtual Galentine's party coming up on Saturday, February 11th. It starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, and it's virtual. So no matter where you are in the world, hop in. I know some of the women that follow the page are like in Europe, so it's early enough in the day that you can still join. So I hope to see y'all there. You can get the tickets on Eventbrite. We will have a live special performance from Christian R&B pop artist Relina Rochelle. She's worked with some of the greats in the Christian hip hop industry. She's worked with Lecrae at his record label. She's worked with Mike Teasy, Scooty Wop, Portia Love. She's worked with a lot of people. She's streamed in over 160 countries, over 70K streams since end of last year or in 2022. So she'll be performing for us, really good friend of mine. And then we'll also have influencer and love blogger and coach, Only Lady V, speaking. And so she'll be giving the keynote speech. You'll definitely want to tap in. She's all about self-love in your singleness journey and just like helping you adjust your crown and not settle for less. So that's on Eventbrite. When you go on my website, just click the upcoming events tab. You'll see it. And the big one for this year is the Kingdom Girls Getaway, y'all. I'm so excited. I've been working tirelessly. Like, y'all don't understand. December, sending emails, making calls. I know the sales director I'm working with is sick of me because I've been asking her so many questions. I've been like, I need help with this. I need help with that. How do I know she's tired of me, but I've been working hard, y'all. So I got it arranged and I'm still in communication with them to get even more perks for you guys. So it's going to be an intimate group of women, very limited space. So make sure you lock in, pay that deposit at least to get your space secured. And it's going to be at Callaway Resort and Gardens in Pine Mountain, Georgia. It's an all-exclusive 5-star resort. It's the only all-inclusive 5-star resort. Well, let me not say all-inclusive. It is inclusive, but not all-inclusive. But it's the only 5-star resort in Georgia. So it has 7-8 restaurants on site, a pool, a beach, zip lining, obstacle courses, boating, fishing, like the spa. I mean, whatever you want, it's there. So yeah, make sure you tap in. The first deposit payment and first installment payment are due March 3rd. So if you want time to make those payments separately, make sure you start putting at least the $80 down for your registration. So I know your spot is secure, but your spot will really be secure once both of those payments are made March 3rd. So just go to the website. You'll see it, singleandsavedinthecity.com. And lock in, y'all. Lock in. I want to see you there. You can invite friends too. Let's do it. Let's go out and have the time. And it's going to be very relaxing, very like tranquil, unwind, all of that.
Yeah, you are going off and doing the thing. Like, give yourself a celebration or something, because that is wonderful. All the things you shared are wonderful, and I'm gonna try to make it to both of them because
yes.
I don't work during the summer, and one of my goals this year is to expand my network. So I'm kind of introverted, not kind of, just very, very introverted. So going out in places where people I don't know is uncomfortable for me, but I know that I cannot grow in my comfort zone.
Yes.
And so that's going to be a goal of mine, to make it to that event this summer, and also the one in February.
Yeah.
So I don't be sitting on that weekend. So
exactly. You know, like, come out and have a good time. Come on Zoom,
yes.
sis.
Yes. So yes, that's wonderful. Y'all make sure you tap in. All of her information is popped up on the screen, and it will be in the description in this video. But thank you so much, Rondelle, for your time. I believe this conversation has been fruitful. It's blessed me. I know it's going to bless the women who listen. But yeah, thanks.
Yes, sis. Thanks for having me. I'm always glad to speak and share.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we will be talking with y'all soon. Make sure y'all connect on social media so that you get what you need in your single season.
Yes.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, thank you so much for watching this video. If it empowered you and supported you in any type of way, I need you to go back and like the video if you did not, and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that we can stay connected. This is also a way for you to support my mission and vision to empower, uplift, and equip our sisters. Also, I want to invite you to join us at the Purpose Place on the Geneva app. Is a community for us to connect every single day, sharing ideas, uplifting, and encouraging each other. It's always great to be connected to like-mindedness. So if you decide to join us, girl, I will see you over there.